Welcome to the String Adventure game video part 2, and my name is Ryan. I teach computer science. We're going to go through this new program here. In this one, I'm going to go ahead and show you what the end results are. Actually, you know what the end results are. You saw this before, okay? So there's no reason to go through that again. Let's go ahead and jump into it. What we're going to do is we've got 3 files that we're going to create. We got one called room 1. The other one's called room 2, and then right here we have string room control. This will be your test class right here. This is what's going to run everything. Okay, that's not to say these things won't do much. Okay, these actually will take over the program once we get it running, but we're going to test it out of here. Okay, this is where the public static void main file is going to be hosted. All right, so to keep things nice and simple, I'm going to go ahead and get you started by creating your own files. Go ahead and open up a new Java file for yourself, and let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to paste in my code here just to keep things nice and smooth. And we're going to import the scanner, and then we're going to create this public class that's going to be called room 1. If you change the names, that's fine. It's no big deal. Okay, but if you want to keep up with me and make sure you're nice and organized, I encourage you to do so. Next, you know what? Let's tab this over. Let's get this lined up. All right, right here, once we get inside of the... Whoa, I missed something here. Not copy and paste, too many brackets. There we go. We're going to create some variables here at the very top of room 1. We have a string array called directions. Okay, we're just going to have 5 in there. And I put exit as a direction. I know it's not direction, but you could be running towards the exit, so that... we'll consider that a direction today. And then we have our first request. There'll be some user input, visit count. I use this to keep track of how many times we go in and out of the different classes. Okay, just kind of evidence here that we're actually able to store information as we go back and forth in between the programs.
Talking about raise.
Especially when you're testing these programs. And next we want to, oh, I already did that. All right, so we already got our scanner for the input 1. We're just going to do our general scanner there. Here we're going to put a constructor in from room 1. Okay, inside the constructor is just kind of a default constructor. Get back on there. Okay, there's nothing inside of it. I'm fine with that. I'm doing the constructor for the rooms. Room 1 and room 2 will have empty constructors. You can always add information to this if you need to, but I'm just leaving it blank because I want to create as an object so that way I can store independent values for each of the different rooms once we get those created. Okay, next we're going to have a method called getInfo on the room, and this method is going to be kind of our first method in the program that the user sees whenever they start running the program. It's going to be like, hey, we just created the room 1 object, and then the test class will call this method.
List
I could have
of
called it out of
information.
here, but I didn't feel like doing that. Instead, I'm going to call it out of the test class, and here we tell the user, whoops, how many visits they've been to this room, their visit count, and we call another method, which we're getting ready to write, called room 1 explore. So the room 1 explore method, once we get that, is going to start detailing out the actual class here with some more action items. And I'm going to go ahead and get this bracket cleaned up because I don't like that empty space. Come on, JGrass. There we go. So make sure you have all that, and make sure you save it in the proper location. And I don't have mine in the proper location, so I'm going to go back and put it in the proper location right there. Okay, so make sure you got everything saved, and let's go ahead and add the next information. Next, we are going to build out our room 1 explorer. I'm going to paste it in the beginning parts of this code, and let's get these brackets. I guess everything's kind of somewhat organized here. So room 1 explorer, it's going to return nothing because it has a return void right here. Right here we tell them they can go these different directions. What we're going to do is, just to make sure we got everything situated, we're going to print out the array that we started right up here on line 6. Okay, so what I'm going to do is we're going to create our other class here in a second, and we're going to get to the point where we can actually call on this method and have everything print out, And we're going to do that just to make sure everything is working correct. So let's go ahead and do that right now. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and create our string room control class right here. So make sure you put that in there, make sure you save it. Mine should already be saved, string room control. So actually, there we go. So I'm saving string room control in the proper location. Right now we just got 4 different variables we're setting up right here. We're going to create an object of room 1, and you know what, I wasn't thinking when I did this one. You can go ahead and comment this line out if you don't want to have to worry about typing it up again, or you can just delete it all together. We haven't created the room 2 class, so if you run it you will get an error. So you should be able to compile it, and it's going to give you an error for room 2. That's because we've not created anything with that, and probably will still give us an error. No, it ran. Okay, but nonetheless, we don't have room 2, but we do have room 1, so everything's cool with that. Right here we create our input for the scanner. Don't forget you got to put your scanner right up in here. And we also import our Java language package, which we'll talk about that here in a minute. And that's actually kind of cool right here. So right here, we have a Boolean called endgame request, and we'll be using that to check on whether we want to end the game or not. Okay, so you should have those different elements added into your string room control at this point in time. We're going to create the public static void main method, and before we do anything, you know what, I don't know what I was thinking. I've had a long day, but the java.lang, I said it does something cool. It doesn't really do anything cool at all. Okay, I totally forgot. My mind slipped here. But you really technically don't need this, okay, since we already by default import all the java.lang packages and stuff like that. So you don't really need it. Why did I put it there? It's just bad habit, maybe. I don't know. Okay. So let's go ahead and create our public static void main method right here, and I'm going to move that back a little bit, okay, just so it lines up a little bit better. And we're going to have a do while loop here. Just so you know, line 19, we have a method called program exit, and we'll create that here in a second. Okay, so public static void main, we're going to call this method called room chooser, and then while this Boolean value endgame request is set to false, we're going to keep asking this to keep repeating itself. Okay, and when we do get the message that this is set to false, okay, this value, which will come from the room chooser method right here, okay, then we'll print out thanks for playing. We'll call a method called program exit and end the program. So program exit, it's a little simple piece of code that will help you out. You kind of probably could get away with not having it on here, but it's always good to have. So whenever program exit gets called, okay, we're going to tell the user that the system will now exit, and that's just there for you to know. And then we use a method from system called system.exit, and we pass in the 0 value, and that's going to shut out the entire program. So when program exit gets called, this will close the entire program. That way, any of your other methods that might be running out of one of these other objects or something like that, it'll automatically stop those for us, okay? And it'll delete all the memory and everything's cool. Okay, so make sure you save that. If you compile it, you're going to get some errors because, one, we have not programmed room chooser. Okay, so that doesn't exist. And right now, this would just keep running over and over again because, you know, endgame request has not been, is false. So this is going to keep being false, so it's going to keep running that forever, ever. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's get room chooser set up here. Let's go ahead and make some room here in between our program exit. I'm gonna have this method running or down at the bottom of the program just because we know it works and it's gonna be good down there. Right below main, I'm gonna put my room chooser method. I went and copy and paste this in here for you. And then right here, we're going to, once this gets called, we're going to ask what room they want to go to. We'll have them input through the scanner to answer 1, switch it all to lowercase, and then right here we're going to check to see if the index of room 1 is greater than or equal to 0. So if they put room 1 somewhere in their sentence, it should prove to be true. And then right here we'll say it looks like you want to go to room 1. Then we're going to call in the room 1 object. Remember, we created that right here. And then we'll call in the method get info on room 1. And let's go ahead and compile that. We shouldn't have any problems. Boom, works. And let me move my console up so we can see a little bit more. Let me get this out of the way. And let's go ahead and run it. And our goal is when we type in room 1, okay, it should print out the array. Okay, right there, worked out good. Okay, so it looks like you want to go to room 1, told us what we typed up in room 1, then print out the array. Then right here, again, we're asking what room you want to go to, but don't worry about that because we haven't got that far. We're just looking to see if we could get this array to print out by calling on the object of room 1 that we just created. Looks like it worked, so we're good. Let's go ahead and end this video before I lose my mind. And I appreciate y'all watching. Hope you're having a good time. We're going to keep knocking this thing out. It's going to get a lot better once we get into room 2, and you can start getting some of your creative storytelling energies in play here. This is actually a lot of fun. You can do some cool stuff with these text-based adventures, especially plugging in some like ASCII art and other things. All right. Thanks for coming. Thanks for watching. Hope you're subscribing, and we'll see you in the near future.